Yes, guys, welcome back to another Liverpool show. I hope everyone's doing well and you've all had a great weekend. It is Tuesday afternoon. This is the Liverpool show, guys. Please don't forget to like. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. All the good stuff. And we're going to get on with the show right after this. Yes, guys, welcome back. Welcome back. Hope everyone's doing well. It's the Liverpool show, guys. Obviously, we had no football this weekend, so there's not a lot of chat about Liverpool wise. But what we are going to talk about today is Liverpool's midfield. Liverpool's midfield, guys, and this ain't about buying players, selling players. It's about the players we have available to us right now in this team. Now, we've seen the beginning of this season so far. You know, we started the season in the Community Shield, winning that, looking quite decent, giving City a good game. Hopes were high. And then we come into the opening day of the season, we're already losing players. Already losing players in our key area. The key area in our team is our midfield. And that's where we've started to lose players from. And, this team, Jurgen Klopp's system, doesn't work properly unless the midfield is working. And if the midfield ain't working, this system doesn't work. It's as simple as that. You can't press high. You can't press high in attack if the system's not working. The midfield was all over the place. We have not controlled games. The only game we've really controlled properly was the Ajax game, probably, I would say. Thought we actually played pretty well against Ajax. Dominated most of the ball. Controlled the most of the game. There was a few moments because Ajax are a decent team, so they go over a few moments in a 90-minute match. But overall, I thought we dominated that game because personnel were back in our team. I've been going on about Harvey Elliott a lot. I like Harvey Elliott. I'll talk about him just not on this channel, but on other channels as well. I like Harvey. I think Harvey's a good footballer. But the more I've been watching Harvey Elliott play for Liverpool so far this season, especially in Liverpool's midfield, I don't think it's quite working. And I think Harvey's been decent. And this is not a dig at Harvey or anything like that. Harvey Elliott has been really good for us. He's probably arguably been our best midfielder since the beginning of the season. And I'm looking at it now thinking, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know if it works with the system that Jurgen Klopp wants to play to commit Harvey to a defensive side of the game at the same time. You know, Harvey Elliott, he's more of a natural wide player, more of a natural wide attacking player. That's his game. The forward side, the defending side of it, he has to learn. As a footballer, you all have to, if you're a midfielder and you go play midfield, you're going to have to learn that responsibility of defending as a midfielder. Hopefully, eventually he does do that. But right now, there's some issues. There's some issues, some balance problem. There is a balance problem in our midfield defensively. Offensively, there's not much of a difference because offensively our midfield is not, it's not what, a midfield of like, say, City's is. It's not an offensive midfield. We all know what our midfield is. It's a working like midfield. It gets the best out of the system and lets the fullbacks do what they do and lets the strikers do what they do. It's a cog in the wheel. But defensively, with the balance at the moment, the midfield is not quite right. I think we can all agree on that. Even I can agree on that. Obviously, there's some things, I don't agree on some people's points on, but the midfield is one. It is an issue. I think Jurgen Klopp knows it's an issue as well. I don't think he's stupid to it. I think he knows that there's an issue on that right-sided of the midfield three. When Thiago and Fabinho are fit, Thiago and Fabinho play. Simple as that. Thiago and Fabinho play. On the right-hand side, there's a difference. On the right-hand side, you got Hendo playing, Keita playing, Elliott playing, Ox playing when they're all fit. And it's just not working. There's a balance problem there. Now, when you look at our midfield in the past, when we were winning Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues, and we're looking dominant in Europe, and we're arguably the best team in Europe at that time. When we were winning the Premier League and Champions League, then 2 seasons, you could arguably say Liverpool were probably the best team in Europe. Maybe not the best looking football team in Europe. Maybe we don't play the best football and things like that. But we were definitely, in my opinion, the year we won the Premier League, the year we won the Champions League and the Premier League back to back, I think that them 2 seasons, arguably, we were the best team in Europe. Arguably. And you go and look at the midfield we had when we was arguably the best team in Europe. It's not a world-class midfield. You wouldn't look at Liverpool's midfield under Jurgen Klopp at any time and go, that's a world-class midfield, That's a world-class midfield. It weren't. Fabinho, Wijnaldum and Henderson were mostly the midfield three. Them 2 seasons, Gini, Wijnaldum, Henderson and Fabinho were your midfield three usually. Ox played some games if he was fit, and Keita played some games if he was fit, and Milner played some games if he was fit. But the majority, that was our midfield. And it worked the best to this system. So you look at the system now Liverpool portray, it's the same system we've been playing for 7 years under Jurgen Klopp. It's tweaked a little bit here and there. When we got players in, the system has tweaked a little bit. There's a little bit of differences to the system, but in all, the system has not changed. It's just the personnel has. And that's the problem. That's the problem. That's why I'm coming to this. In the thumbnail, obviously, when you look at the thumbnail, the question is this our best midfield three? When you look at it properly, Henderson, Thiago and Fabinho. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. That midfield three, especially with Hendo. But I'm looking at it with a balanced point of view. I'm looking at it with a balanced point of view to the team and to get the best out of this system. Harvey Elliott, for me, playing on the right-hand side of midfield, his fullback is Trent. So Trent is his fullback, and Trent and Elliott look after each other. Yeah, they cover that side of the pitch. They look after each other. Try and get the best out of what Mo wants to do going forward, yeah? But it's not quite working for the balance of the team. For the balance of the team, it's not quite working. Because the problem is Harvey Elliott and Trent together are too immature defensively. And that's not a sly on them. It's not a dig on them. It's just a fact. Together, Trent and Harvey Elliott defensively in this system are too immature to play with each other. And it's not immaturity of like their kids or anything like that. It's they haven't grown up yet, matured as footballers yet. I don't think Trent's still not matured enough as a footballer yet. Tremendous going forward, but we see the immaturity in his defending. Not running back, the laziness. That's immaturity in his defending. That's what that is. Trent is Harvey Elliott is 19 years old. Harvey Elliott is not a born defender. Harvey Elliott is he wants to show off. He wants to run down the wing. He wants to play give and goes. He wants to play crosses. He wants to get down to the byline and pull back balls. And You know, he wants to thread balls through into the box. He wants to assist. He wants to score. He wants to dribble past the player. That's what Harvey Elliott wants to do. So when you put that Harvey Elliott in a central midfield position in a Klopp system, unfortunately for Harvey Elliott, it doesn't look like he's doing very good because you've got to be very defensively minded in Klopp's midfield three. It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one because, as I say, I really rate Jordan Henderson. Really rate Harvey Elliott. I do rate Jordan Henderson as well. I'm not going to be one of these fans who think, you know, Jordan's this and that. I like Jordan. I think he's a great captain and leader for the football club, and he's done great things for this football club. We just got an issue on that right-hand side. You can say we've got an issue on the left-hand side because obviously Thiago's got 2 years left in his contract. So at the end of this season, he's got a year left on his deal. So we're going to have to come to a time next season in the summer. We've got to sit down with Thiago and think what's the best for this football club. Do we keep Thiago knowing that he's probably only going to play 26 Premier League games a season? Let me know in the chat. Guys, everyone in the chat, let me know what you think on this. So, next summer, we are probably going to have to sit down with Thiago and talk about his contract because he hasn't got long left. Do you give him a new deal knowing that he's probably only going to play 26 Premier League games a season? If you look at his last 2 Premier League seasons, he's played 25 and 26. That's how many games in the Premier League he's played. In his first season, he played 25. Last season, he played 26. So this season, if he plays around the 25, 26, 27th mark, that is what you're getting out of Thiago in the Premier League. Now, we play 38 games in the Premier League, and he's playing around 25, 26 of them. So it's not the end of the world. Personally, for me, I would give him a new deal because I think having Thiago around for 25 to 26 games of a season is better than what you're going to have to buy to replace him, if you know what I mean, if that makes sense. Because what we need to do in the summer is buy midfielders where we don't have to rely on Thiago to play every game. At the moment, we're going to have to rely on Thiago playing every game because it helps the system and it helps us win. Hopefully in the summer, we get midfielders where that ain't the issue, where Thiago can play 25, 26 games next season because he won't be relied upon to play, you know, minor games. You know, you want to keep him fresh and fit for the bigger games, say. So you've got more quality in your midfield where you go, right, Thiago, you don't have to play this game. So-and-so's going to play. I'll keep you ready for, I don't know, Man United the following week. And then we've got Man City, Arsenal, you know, then run a game. So I'm going to need you for that. You know, I'm going to play so-and-so against West Ham and, you know, teams like that. And, you know, we need you fit for that. So, personally, for me, I wouldn't mind Thiago signing a new deal, personally. So, let me know in the chat what you think about that as well. It would be hard to let him go, I think. It would be hard to let him go. Personally, I think it would be because he is such a good footballer. The quality he's got, I can go. If he only plays 26 games in the Premier League every season for Liverpool, but we got enough players around him, then it don't really matter, if that makes sense. Now, it could be the case now, but our players don't stay fit in this midfield. You know, if these players stayed fit in this midfield and were firing, I'd be like, yeah, Thiago's cool only playing 25, 26 games because we can keep him for the big games and stuff like that. You know, he'd be the special attraction in our midfield, say. And that would help. It's going to be an interesting one what the club do next season because, as I said, at the end of this season, I believe he has only got 1 year left on his deal. I think he signed a 4-year deal and this will be his 3rd season. So we have got to have that discussion next summer, which is going to be an interesting one because we do need to buy midfielders. But going back to here and now, guys, our best midfield three for balance. I want to know what you guys think in the chat as well. Let me know in the chat what you guys think. what is our best midfield three for just the balance, the how we go get this club, how we go get back to winning games. I saw a bit against Ajax where I was like, yeah, that was a bit more like it. We controlled the game pretty much. I mean, we had all the possession, all the ball. We put Ajax in positions where we wanted Ajax to be. At the end of the day, we should have won that game 3 or 4-1. Let's be fair. The finishing was a little bit off. We could have been winning that game 3 or 4-1. Really could. Darwin Núñez obviously put one past the post we should have scored. So you put the finishing away, that game could have been 3 or 4-1. It looks a lot more rosy. And don't forget, this is an Ajax team everyone's bigging up. They won all their games in Holland, not conceded a goal, scoring goals for fun. I thought we handled them pretty well. I've got to be said, considering it was a European game. I thought we handled them pretty well. But that's because Thiago was back in the midfield. And I've said it for a while now. Thiago is our best our best defender. I keep banging on about it. I know Fabinho's there, and he's classed as the defensive midfielder. But for me, Thiago is our best defender. Thiago is fantastic on the press without the ball. He's one of the only midfielders we actually have who does the dark arts. We always moan that we as a team, we're too nice. We don't do the dirty challenges, the dirty tackles, the shirt pulls, the stop counter attacks and stuff like that. You go and watch Man City play. Go and watch Man City play. Man City are fantastic at the dark arts. And for me, there's nothing wrong with it. If there's a counter attack on, Rodri will happily pull a shirt back or take the ankle out or anything like that, get a yellow card or whatever, and stop the game and then get back in their defensive situations. Nothing wrong with it. I think we should do it more. We don't do it enough. But Thiago does do it. You see Thiago do it all the time. He don't mind pulling a shirt back or making a foul or something like that to stop a counter attack. He's our best defender. And that is why when him and Fabinho played together, we hardly ever lose. I think they've only lost one game together in all the time they played with each other. All the time they've been a partnership in our midfield, I believe we've only ever lost one game, which is crazy stat. It's a crazy stat. The other crazy stat is that we've only lost one game in the Premier League in 2022. That's a... yeah, I mean... But this midfield needs sorting, and we got this time off now. We've got the international break. Fingers crossed no one gets injured on the international break, because that would just be heartbreaking. You get all your players back and then they get bloody injured again. I think Klopp said the majority of players will be back. Keita, and I think he even said the Ox and Keita should be back in the second week of October. And considering we don't come back till the 1st of October, I mean, it's good news. Well, no matter what people think, it's bodies. It's fit bodies we got that we can bring on and play, and it'd be good to have a fit team. No matter what people might think of the quality and the ability of certain players, it'd just be nice to have a fit team that Klopp can have an actual bench that he looks behind at and goes, right, I've got no kids on this bench for once. I can bring him on, him on, him on, and him on, and change it around a bit. That's what we need. We need players back, and that's why we have started to look a little bit better the last couple of games, because we're getting players back. It will make a massive difference to this Liverpool team. I know we're 9 points behind the likes of Arsenal and Tottenham right now, Man City. And it might look a bit worrying. Yeah, we've got a game in hand, but you got to win that game in hand, don't you? So I'm not too concerned right now, because I do think once we get this team back, and majority of the players that especially play in that midfield area are so key to the way we play, I personally think we'll come back and start to look a lot better. Playing better football, controlling games better. We got a massive month coming up. October's going to be huge. Obviously, we've got Brighton, then we've got Rangers, then we're away to Arsenal, then we're at home to Man City the following week, and then I think we got West Ham. It's a massive month, October. 9 games in 30 days. It's huge. This is going to be at the end of October. I think we're going to see where everyone stands in the Premier League by the end of October. I really do, because there's so many games, and we'll see where everyone stands. That's why that 9 points can go quite quickly. People start getting their act together, winning their games again. And then all of a sudden you go, oh, them points can disappear quite quickly. Because when Liverpool got their team back, I do believe Liverpool can go on a bit of a run. I really do. Once the players back in this team, I do think this team can go on a bit of a run. 5-6 wins in a row, and all of a sudden you're right back up there again, ain't you? And you're looking right back at the top again. So it ain't the end. There's still plenty of play for. It's only just started. But this month of October is going to show who is where and when. City will probably blow through the month of October just because they got Haaland, who I swear is not human. He's an android. I swear he is. He was made in a lab. I'm telling you right now, they made Haaland in a lab. It's not natural. It's not natural what he's doing, but he's doing it. And at the moment, City are just, De Bruyne don't even do much in the game no more. De Bruyne just hangs around, gets the ball, and then feds off, and then just passes the ball through to Haaland, and he scores. That is what City do now, and you can't stop it. This is the problem. This is the massive problem. So City will probably go through it. Arsenal got a hard month. It's going to be interesting to see how Arsenal and Tottenham do with it. It really is. And then ourselves. But we got to have the right midfield. And Klopp's got to be very strategic now with this midfield. He's got to play this midfield properly. You can't play Thiago every week. You can't start Thiago every week. You're going to have to give him a little break here and there. You can't play Fabinho every week. 9 games in 30 days is a lot. And my worry is that if you play Fabinho and Thiago every game, which I would like, I think we'd all, be very happy with Thiago and Fabinho playing every game. But their injury record speaks for itself, and they can't do that. So we need players back. But player on that right-hand side of midfield, guys, that is the issue. That is the issue. The right-sided central midfield area, guys, it is a massive issue. And you can tell Klopp needs the players Klopp is looking at in the transfer market, the play on that side. He knows as well it is an issue. But what we do right now, we'll take a little break. I'm going to get in the chat, guys, see what you guys are saying in the chat. And then we'll go on from there. But big up to everyone. Don't forget to hit the like. Hit the subscribe button if you've not hit the subscribe button already. We've got 43 people in here. Big up to everybody. I know it's a weird time of the day, 4 in the afternoon to do a video. But, yeah, I didn't know when I could get a video out. And, so I thought I'd do it now. I might not do videos at 4 o'clock going forward. I'll try and do them, half 12, 1 o'clock. It's just a little bit harder now because the kids are back at school. So, I know I'm doing the school runs, obviously, because obviously Lauren's not here. So it's a little bit harder, but 4 o'clock is what it is at the moment. And if people like it, we'll keep to it. If people want the earlier start of like half 12, 1 o'clock, we'll go back to that as well. But let's get to everyone's chats. Big up John Conway. Hope you're doing well. James in the house. How you doing, James? Yeah, Thiago, Hendo, and Fab. We really do need to sign Jude in Jan. On next summer against weaker teams, we should play Carvalho and take a midfielder. KO says, I see crop out, spread the word every day. Panoff, how you doing, mate? Good day, Jamie. Big up the chat. Bit of a hard one, this, Jay, due to our injury-prone midfielders. But if it's all fit and on fire, I would go Fab, Thiago, and Keita. I've heard a lot of people say about Keita. We'll get to it. We'll go get to that. Big up, Ryan. Hope you're doing well, bro. Hope you're doing well. Big up, Psychedelic Scientist. I hope you're well, Jamie, and the chat. The best midfield is Fab, Thiago, and Hendo. I would say Hendo has had more better performances than Naby. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, hit the likes and subscribe, guys, and big up to everyone in the chat. Big up James as well. Thiago, Hendo, and Fab. John's going with. Big up to Varian. Hope you're doing good, my friend. Jamie's after the new... The new candle taking over Origi. Vic loves when I Oh, Vic loved that quote. I think Vic liked that quote. I think that's his favourite ever quote for me. Origi's like a candle in a power cut. It's the only time you get him out. Yeah. I remember thinking that on the top of my head, you know. Big up Trudon, Roberto, DZ Berries, Blue. Oh, Jesus Christ, Trudon. Nice intro. Thank you very much, my friend. Yo, Jamie, hope you're good. Big up Ravi. Big up John Moore in the house as well. Our best midfield is probably Cater, Thiago, Fab in a 4-3-3. Got Cater love in the house. That After Hours podcast was mad. Yeah, thank you for everyone who joined the After Hours podcast. It's we're going to keep going with it every Sunday night at 10 p.m. I just feel like I know it's not football related and it might mess up my YouTube algorithms a little bit because it's something completely different to what I do. But I'm only going to do it every Sunday night at 10 p.m. and I enjoy it. It's a good laugh. We go for 3 hours. And I think we almost went for 4 hours on Sunday. It's a big video. But we had a laugh, man. It's just a good time chatting with your mates, having a laugh with you guys in the chat. You guys seem to enjoy it as well. So, yeah, if you do like the After Dark podcast, guys, and you're enjoying it, leave a thumbs up in the chat, guys. If you are enjoying the brand new podcast every Sunday night, leave a thumbs up in the chat. Big up. Big up Ryan. After Dark. Yeah, them After Dark podcasts are sick. We need more of them over the international break. Big up Vic. Our best midfield is Thiago, Fab, and Hendo, says Havarian. Thiago than the rest. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Harvey and Trent can't play together with the current tactics. They want to occupy the same space. Harvey and Gomez would work better. I agree. I think Harvey Elliott with a sort of more old school traditional right back. I think Harvey Elliott would then be fine in that right central midfield area. But as Savarian says there, you know, Trent goes forward. As soon as Trent goes forward, Harvey goes forward as well. Where really, if Trent's going forward and occupying, because Trent goes forward, but Trent don't stay wide anymore, does he? He doesn't stay touch tight anymore. He cuts inside, he goes inverted, he goes through the middle into a midfield position. So if Trent's doing that, there is nowhere for Harvey to go if he's going forward. So Harvey then needs to drop back and cover Trent's position and become like an auxiliary right back while Trent is going forward. But they don't do that because, as I said, they're both not mature enough defensively. They're both immature defensively. Elliott still goes forward when Trent goes forward. So because Trent comes inverted and comes inside into like a central midfield position, Harvey then goes wide in the attacking right back position. So then you just leave him massive, massive gaps. And that's the issue at the moment, where Hendo will more than likely, because he hasn't got the legs to get up and down anymore, Hendo will just make a more defensive option than Harvey Elliott at this moment in time and will give us more balance. But there's still issues with Hendo playing in the number 8 position on that right-sided midfield area because he gets caught on the press now because he hasn't got the legs to get himself out of trouble anymore like he used to when he gets pressed now. And that's an issue. So, yeah, there is a few things we need to sort in that area. It's not an easy one, to be fair. Big up, Bailey. How you doing? I worry about Carvalho. I'm worried about Carvalho is with we stick with 4-3. I'm worried he ain't going to get the best out of him. That is another thing I agree with. Where does Carvalho play in a 4-3-3? Doesn't play anywhere in a 4-3-3. Can't. Carvalho's looked his best for Liverpool so far when he has to come on and impact the game. So Klopp lets him come on. Doesn't really give him a position on the team, like a formation, like a position on set in this formation. He just tells Carvalho, go out there, get in and around the box, try and influence something with a pass or a shot, and go from there. Where in reality, you know, it's just not really working in a 4-3-3 for him from a starting position. So you're right there, Vic. I don't know where he starts in that position. Big up, Aaron. Hope you're doing well, mate. Yeah, just reading that. Well, telling me what? Yeah, that is another worry. AD in the house. What's up, Jamie? Coppish brought me here. Big up, AD. Thank you very much for coming in, my friend. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you for coming in for your first time. I appreciate the love, my friend. Hope you're enjoying this kind of show. Big up, Cav. Cav, I've sent you the link in your Twitter DM if you wanted to come in and have your say. It's up to you, my friend. You can come in if you want. Savage, if you're about, the link is in yours as well. So, yeah, guys, if any of you are about and you want to come in, you're more than welcome. Yeah, big up, AD. Big up, AD. Good day, Cav. Hi, Savarian. Our best midfield was probably Fab, Thiago, and Genie, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, that would have been perfect, wouldn't it? That would have been perfect. 18-19 was peak Klopp. Liverpool should have won the double. But it really happened due to injuries. Genie was underrated. We should have gave him a better contract and kept him. He felt underappreciated. Yeah, that's the word. I mean, look, I was never Genie's massive fan. I weren't like a Genie fan or anything like that in as such, where I wasn't too bothered when he left, to be fair. I know a lot of people were upset about it and didn't understand why he went. We should have kept G. I get it. Me personally, I was like, okay, Genie's gone. It just weren't, it didn't really hit me, But now you can see the issue with Genie out of the team. Now you can see that issue. Genie was never present because of his injuries. And then, unluckily for him, now he goes to Roma and he breaks his leg and he's going to miss the World Cup. But that midfield of him, Henderson, and Fabinho just worked. Won a Premier League and Champions League with it. It just worked. It was our best midfield under the Klopp era. It's hard to disagree with that. You look under the Klopp era, our best midfield was Genie, Hendo, and Fab because they got the best out of it. It suited the system. It just suited the system. The system worked better under it. And then you had Keita when he was fit would come in, Ox when he was fit would come in, Milner when he was fit would come in, and that would be your 6 central midfielders. Now, that's not really a world-class midfield. It's a workhorse midfield. Always has been, always will be in this setup. But it worked. It worked because it helped the system. The fullbacks got to do what they got to do. And then Genie would cover Robbo, Hendo would cover Trent, and then you got Flacco there in the defensive midfield area doing his bit. So everyone was covered. Robbo could go there. Trent could go there. And then Genie and Hendo would fill in behind them. See what I mean? And the press was tighter. The defence, the back four could really push up higher because Genie can defend, Fabinho can defend, and Hendo can defend. So the back four could come up high and play that high line. You could squeeze the game up really high. And it worked beautifully. As I said, for them 2 years, we won the Champions League and Premier League. We're arguably the best team in Europe. And that was with a so-called world-class midfield. So it does show that if you have the right coaching and the right system and the right players, you can be very successful. You don't have to have your De Bruyne's, your Gundogan's, and your Bernardo Silva's as your midfield three to be successful. If your system works, your coaching works, and you've got the right players in that system, you can be very successful. And that's why I'm not always like, when I look at the players we're always after, there's rumours we're after Sangara in January from PSV, yeah? Massive rumours we're after Sangara in January and still after Casado from Brighton, right? All defensive-minded midfielders. That's what Klopp wants. And it'll get the best out of our midfield again. Get the best out of our team again. Klopp wants workhorse, defensive-minded midfielders in his midfield three that helps the rest of the team. Also, big up Jamie. Hope you're well, mate. Yeah, I'm doing good, mate. I'm doing good. Fab, Thiago, Elliot / Artur. Yes. We've got to talk about Arthur as well. Big up Bailey, how you doing, mate? I agree. I agree on them. They both ain't defensively good. Big box. Naby, Thiago, and Fab is our best midfield in my opinion. Yeah, a lot of Thiago. Naby loving the chat. Big afternoon, Colin. How you doing, mate? Afternoon, Doug. Harvey's a 10. Wasted him in the midfield and the system. I agree. We got right. Yes. Keep Thiago by all means. Yes. So yeah, no sell. This is all the big up, Ian. How you doing, mate? Sorry, your long COVID symptoms are back. Sorry about that, Ian. He's easily our best midfielder. We need to upgrade on the rest of them, not Thiago. I agree. Yes, best passer in our team. There you go. I wouldn't renew at all. He's amazing, but if he was a racehorse, he'd have been shot by now. Jesus, my man. We'll have a better chance of winning those 25, 26 games. I'd give him a 2-year deal, says John. Thiago's an injury-prone luxury player, but damn, he's world-class. Also makes a difference. Yes, keep him. Exactly. See, this is the problem. See, when it comes... So when you got Naby in this hand, Thiago in this hand. So you got Naby here, Thiago here, right? They're both injury-prone players, yeah? But you could argue in the 2 and a bit years he's been here, Thiago has outperformed Naby, and Naby's been here for 4 years. So, that's why a lot of people are like, well, let Naby go, because when he is fit, he isn't performing to a level that's good enough. But when Thiago's fit, he's a world-class level. There's a massive difference. Massive difference. This is when I look at it, with all the injury-prone midfielders we got, I'd keep Thiago out of all of them. He's just too good. He's just too good to let go. Yes, we know we're probably only going to get 25 or 26 Premier League games out of him every year. I don't care. He's just too good. Where with Naby, yeah, we know Naby's got potential. We know there's quality inside Naby Keita. But unfortunately, in the 4 years or whatever it is he's been here, he's never shown it. Or not shown it enough. So that's why I'd be like, keep Thiago, sell Naby, and move from there. Keep him, but only play him in the big games. Yeah, exactly, Mohammed. Yes, and get someone to rotate with him. Exactly. It's madness getting rid of our only world-class midfielder. Exactly. But you need to get 3 other mids who can carry the load. Thiago and Hendo. Exactly. That's why. That is why next summer is going to be massive. I personally think this January is going to be big for Liverpool. I'm not even looking at next summer. Let's forget about next summer a minute, guys. Let's talk about January. We need to do something in January, in my opinion. Let's talk about. I think we need to do something in January. That's what we need to be looking at. Get somebody in January, because we can't buy all. We can't buy 3. We're not going to buy 3 midfielders next summer. It's just not logistically going to happen. We know Milner is probably going to leave. We know Ox is definitely going to leave. Keita is probably going to leave because he ain't signing a new deal. So there's 3 midfielders gone out of our team straight away. They all need replacing. So you get 1 in January, and then you probably get 2 in the summer. We need to get midfielders into this club. And as I said, it's not going to be your Nico Barellas and stuff like that, because that's not what Klopp's looking at. Klopp is looking at the likes of your Caicedos, your Sangaras, them kind of midfielders, and probably a midfielder along the lines of someone like a Tuchemeni, where he can play defensively and attackingly in the same time. Tuchemeni. That's why I was going for Tuchemeni, because Tuchemeni can play the 6, he can play the 8. Everyone in our midfield needs to play a 6 and an 8, because it helps the system. So Robbo and Trent bomb on. So someone's got to sit there to let them bomb on. So you've got to be defensively minded. Gini and Hendo were. That's why we were so good at that period with Gino. Who's Gino? With Gini, Hendo and Fabinho in that midfield 3. That's why we were so good back then. because it helped the system. That's what we need. That's what we need. Let's get Cav in. Cav's here. Big up, Cav.
Hello.
Hey, mate, you all right? Yeah,
good. All good, mate. All good. You keeping well?
Yeah, doing all right. Bit of sad news about Penny. So let me just tell everyone this because I know I said I weren't talking about Penny ever again, but I put a post up on Twitter about her and it's gone like massive. Like this post has gone huge. So I'm going to talk about her all the time. I don't care what people say anymore. So she's my daughter at the end of the day. So I'm going to let the people know what they think or what they want to hit because everyone asks for her. So why shouldn't I tell them? So Penny is doing well. Her operation so far is very successful. Everything's going well. She's got to come home with the halo still on because her bones are very soft where they did the fusion in her neck, but they don't want her neck to go back again. So they want to give it the best chance possible. So they want to keep her in a halo, but the halo is connected to like a body brace. Okay. So she can walk about and just get on with her normal life, but everything's secured for her. She'll probably have to wear it for like 12, 18 weeks, something like that, towards the end of the year. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, by then everything's fused and she'll be perfectly fine.
Wow.
But the surgeon who did it, who's going to fit it today, because she was meant to have fitted it for today and then get used to wearing it for a few days and hopefully come home the weekend. Mm-hmm. Well, her surgeon broke his shoulder.
Oh, Jesus. How's she look?
He broke his shoulder, so he's not able to do it. His two deputy surgeons who work with him have got completely fully booked operations for the next 2 days. Right. So it's put Lauren and Penny back a couple of days. So they're probably not going to come home until next week now. It's just, and then while Penny's been in there, she's caught a chest infection.
Yeah, wow, Jesus.
It's just like it's been almost 6 weeks now, and like Lauren's getting they're getting fed up now. They've had enough. They just want to.
Of course they are. Yeah, of course they are. Well, I hope for yours and your family's sake, like all this bad luck is just piled into one period, and she can have this. She can have her treatment and the recovery, and then everything's done. Hopefully, you hope.
Just get her home, and everything will be. Once she's home, and she get used to wearing the thing on her head and all that, and walking around because she hasn't really walked for 5 weeks, so her legs are like she needs to get out of bed and start walking again because her hip and knees gone really stiff where she ain't walking.
Yeah.
So once she gets out, once it starts, she's had the operation, everything's done. They're now just waiting for this final little bit. Get used to walking around in the hospital for a few days with it, doing stairs and all that whatnot and physio and all that. Then there's no reason for her not to come home. So
and she can go back to being a young girl and do what all children should do and just play and learn and do all the things that
she can't wait.
She can't wait. So,
and she's in great spirits at the moment as well. And I told everyone about the messages. I read some of the messages out to her the other day, and she loved it all. She couldn't believe it.
I seen the support. I seen the support you got on that post, and like
it's gone huge, ain't it?
And like for everybody that's liked it and commented and stuff, like I don't think they quite realize that actually when you show that to like your family and stuff, it really shows the amount of support that you've got, and it does help. It does help knowing that people care and that people are like rooting for you also. Credit everyone that's shown that support.
Yeah, exactly. It's got almost 2,000 likes, 12 quote tweets, 68 retweets, and I think like 350 comments. It just went, and even Troops messaged me. I've never spoken to Troops in my life, and Troops messaged me.
Yeah,
which was a bit like, oh wow, like Troops. So I mean, we just hit everyone.
It's serious what she's had done, and she's at the end of the day, she's a little girl, isn't it? They deserve to live the life that they should and not have to go through that suffering and pain. But she's a strong girl, and she hopefully now she's just gonna recover and grow from here. So sounds like it's positive, Jamie, which is
she's definitely on her way.
But couple of days. It's been a long time, so a couple more days. And
if it's Tuesday or Wednesday next week, Tuesday and Wednesday next week, it's not the end of the world. It's just I know my wife's had enough. She just wants to come home now and stuff. like that.
You get sick of seeing hospitals and wards and stuff, don't you? Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
So midfield 3. What's your thoughts on everything that's been said so far?
Yeah, I think I much agree with everything you've said and the people in the chat have said. It shows that everybody's kind of on the same wavelength of thinking, aren't they? That we all accept Thiago is absolutely one in a million. You know, I go further than world class because I don't think there's a player out there like him, and I don't think there'll be a player like him for a very long time as well. In what he does and what he certainly offers us. Fabinho has been poor in games this season, but he's definitely the go-to number 6, I think, at the minute, even still. Thiago just makes him even better, and helps him out. And then the third spot, yeah, it surprised me actually that some people were still throwing Keita's name out there. I thought a lot of fans were kind of done with him to an
there's a lot of Keita love still.
but there's still some people there rooting for him, so that's fair. And I do understand it, you know, like he has shown in flashes what he can bring, and a lot of people still look back at his time prior to joining Liverpool and think, oh, can we still get that player? I'm not quite as convinced. I'm a bit done with Keita, I'll be honest. I think he's a goner in January. But yeah, between the main two for me, Elliot, Henderson, and I agree with the points you made. And I've said before, I think against so-called lesser teams where you can afford to really push up the pitch and take risks and stuff to break down low blocks and stuff, I think you'd play Elliot. But against tougher opposition where you need that extra protection for Trent and a bit more defensive nous in the midfield, you go with Henderson at the minute. So I would flutter between the two. I think the other thing as well is, and you've touched upon it when he talks about Thiago, is like, yeah, he's got a couple of years left on his contract. I personally think that he will extend that because he seems very happy at Liverpool. I think he come out in the week and said, like, this is his team now and stuff. So making all the right noises for us to think he would extend. But we need to, like, as well as kind of refresh the midfield, we need to succession plan for him as well, which is going to be difficult. And again, when he leaves the club in maybe 2 years' time, maybe 3 or what have you, is the midfield a completely different midfield again? You know, because we've gone from, you know, workman-like midfield, rotate the turn over the ball, give it out to the fullbacks or give it to the forwards. We've come to more of a technical, creative midfield when you have Thiago in it, but when he goes, where are we there again? So I would like to see. I'd like to see the club just make. They're going to have to make really clever signings in the next few windows, whereby they're getting talented players, hardworking players, technically good players, but also young players. Because we can't keep doing this every couple of years. We've got to find new bodies. We do need to like have reliable players that are going to be there for 5-6 years, say. And I think that's why everybody really is excited about Jude, because he offers all of that, doesn't he? So it's going to be really interesting come January what kind of players they look at. It could be that a lot of the names that we got linked to over the summer and stuff just aren't even options anymore. You know, I think a load of names got thrown out there because we were almost panicking at one point, and they were chucking names and stuff out there. Was it? I think the most recent one was it Valverde from Real Madrid? Yeah. And it was like, it's like, yeah, that would be an absolutely brilliant signing, but how realistic is
it's going to cost you like 80 to 90 million, isn't it? He's just,
yeah.
We could have got him. I mean, I think Real Madrid bought him for 4.5 million.
Do you know where they signed him from?
Was it Betis? People in the chat might know. But yeah, I think they signed him 4.5 million. Something stupid. I know it's silly money for the player he is. Now the quality he's got, I think it was quite cheap. You know, one thing I will say about our scouting, I think our recruitment is good, but I don't think it's maybe as great as everyone makes it out to be, because we always go for players that have already gone to another club and then have to pay more money. But we say we've been scouting them for years. Apparently, we've been looking at Caicedo for years. We're looking at Valverde for years, but we never signed them when they were dirt cheap. Now, if they think they're good enough and they're scouting them, why ain't they signing them? You know, now we could have got Caicedo for like 7 million or something like that, or whatever Brighton paid for him. And now if we want to buy him, he's going to cost 50.
Yeah.
What are Liverpool too scared about putting the trigger on really cheap players unknown to the world because of, I don't know, because of people coming back at them on social media or the anger from fans? Like, who's this player you're buying from? I never heard of Caicedo before. Why are you buying? Who's in for 7 million? What a load of crap that is. Do you reckon they're worried about that sort of thing and they go to another club and watch them play? Or do you think they're just never too sure on them, even after scouting them?
I don't think it's the form of thing you said, as in they worry so much about social media and fans' opinions and stuff. I think they're a lot more switched on to sort of bow to that kind of pressure, to be honest. Or at least I would like to hope that's the case. We're not Man United after all. But I think personally it's because Liverpool have, let's face it, been at the very top of the English and European football game for the past few years, and they have a way of playing. And for that way of playing to be successful, everybody's got to buy in, and that's both on the pitch and off the pitch. To go have the right attributes, the right mentality, the right personality, and everything else. So when we're doing our searches for players, we have so many boxes to tick to get the right player, which is, when you get them, it's proved so successful. But I think they have been reluctant to sort of pull the trigger on a few because they ultimately can't afford for players to come in and be poor. You know, you can't afford to sign. Let's say it's Caicedo, right? He's been really good since he's gone to Brighton, but back when Brighton signed him and Liverpool were, let's say, had been scouting him for a few years, he was still somewhat of an unknown quantity as to whether he'd be successful in the league. So Liverpool are thinking, we're competing for league titles every year. We have a system. We have players that do that system. How much risk can we take on an unknown quantity like that? And I just think they're really risk adverse. I just think they really have to be convinced in somebody to pull the trigger and get them. But you do have to take a gamble sometimes on some players. You know, you can't keep affording for these players to go to other English clubs and then try and sign them, because, as we know, the fees just get massively heightened, and it's gonna, you know, you continue to sign players that are already in the league, it's gonna cost you so much premium that in so many years' time you're not going to be able to afford it because you've outspent. You know, so. Yeah, I just think they're really picky. I think they're really choosy. I think that's across all of the guy. Dave, what's his name? The name escapes me. Julian Ward, sorry.
Yeah.
The recruitment team and Klopp. I think they're all just so choosy. If I'm being honest,
I think they are.
They don't want to spend the fee and pay the wages and have to sell the guy the following year. Like we've done Minamino type deals whereby we see an opportunity for a player and we think we can get at least your money back or a better return in a couple of years' time. They'll do that as squad options, but when it comes to first team players, I don't think they're willing to take them kind of risks, to be honest.
No, that's the thing. I mean, I can understand it. I mean, like they might be scouting these players and thinking, you know, they could be good for us, but we're not quite 100% sure.
Yeah.
Then they go to a club and they're like, right, they can do it. Right, we'll go back in now. So I can get it.
When we scout players as well, like it's very easy to say Liverpool are scout players because, let's face it, Liverpool, one of the biggest clubs in the world, they probably scout everybody to an extent, don't they? So it's if you're a player that's reached Premier League standards, say, or is in one of the big teams in Europe, the likelihood is you have been scouted by Liverpool. So it's always easy to write that article, isn't it? But how strong is the interest is more of the question, isn't it?
That's the thing. But I think we have got to start maybe taking a little bit more gamble here and there. But it's going to be interesting seeing going forward. Big up, John Thomas. I hope you're doing well, mate. Yeah, everyone likes the after hours pod. Yeah, everyone liking it. Big up to everyone. Thanks everyone viewing it and watching it with us. We enjoy it. It's not Kate Love really, Jay, but when he's playing, he playing good. He's good. Yeah, I mean, yeah, when he's good, when he is on form, he's on form. But the problem with Naby, he can be really good one game, and you're excited to see him the next week, and he don't perform. You know, that's what you get with Naby sometimes. Now, I understand why people want Naby in the midfield three, because Naby is good defensively, and he is good. He is good on the press without the ball as well. Yeah, him and Thiago are probably our two best midfield pressers, I would say, without the ball. So to suit our system and the way we play, I can understand why people look at Naby Keita and go, no, I'm willing to give Naby that chance. I mean, will we see him play for Liverpool again? He's got to be fit. I think Klopp said the second week in October, him and Ox should be back. It's got to be interesting.
Yeah. That comment's true, though. You know, when his good games are very good, you know, and that's the frustrating thing. You know, we have a sample size. We have games we can look back on and say, yeah, Keita was on it today, and he is really good. Like he's a very modern midfielder. Can skip by a player, can drop a shoulder, go around somebody. You know, he's very good in the press, and he can contribute in the goals as well. So like when you add all of that up, you think, oh, that's very exciting. That's very, you know, brings a lot of energy and so much. But like you've said, the inconsistency in performance and then the inconsistency in fitness, I don't want to see Liverpool relying on a player like that anymore, to be honest. Because it doesn't matter how good you are as a team. If you have, we're experiencing it this season, and we experienced it back when we had the injuries in defence. If you can't rely on players' fitness, you won't win anything, and that's the truth of it.
No, I agree. Do you think we'll make any signings in January? I think we will. I have this feeling we will. I think we'll buy a midfielder in January. Look, there was a reason. I think John Moore brought it up a while ago, actually, in one of our debates. We made 70-odd million back from all the sales this summer, and we didn't use it to buy a midfielder that we desperately needed, and we got a loanee at the end of the transfer window. In my opinion, there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that, because I think the right player because you've got to remember what Klopp said. Klopp said, I made a mistake. We definitely need a midfielder, but he has to be the right player. It can't just be anybody. And then you bring in Artur, which makes it sound like we just brought in anybody. You know, and you hear Klopp's comments and stuff like that. I mean, Klopp's full of praise of him and stuff like that. All them comments about him, he wanting to end his contract and like this is that's all rubbish. It's all crap. Klopp's all praise of him. He's happy with him. He's doing double shifts in training and stuff like that because he wants to play.
Yeah.
So you can only praise him for that. And Klopp has been, but it did come down as a desperation signing that Klopp says we weren't going for. So the money's there, I think, to get someone in January, because everyone keeps saying who we go to sell because we're a buy to sell team apparently. So who we go to sell? We made the money back. The 77 million or whatever we made back this summer, sitting there. So there is money to spend in January. Even if you only spend half of that in January, the club has still made profit. You know what I mean? So I do think it will happen. Personally, I think we do. I honestly think we do some kind of agreement with Jude Bellingham in January to get him in the summer. That's what I think. Because Liverpool don't want to do. Liverpool never fight for a player with other teams. That never happens. Liverpool walk away all the time. Unless Liverpool think they got the upper hand, a bit like the Diaz deal with Spurs. Spurs were in for him. Spurs were about to buy him. Liverpool thought they had the upper hand and just went and done that deal. But that's against Spurs, you know.
Yeah.
With Bellingham, you're going up against Madrid and Man City. Liverpool can't compete with that. So I think Liverpool might be thinking, let's do something in January. I honestly think Jude Bellingham's ideal would be Liverpool as well. I think he sees himself more as a Liverpool player than a City player. The Madrid thing I don't think is real. I'm looking at Madrid's midfield. I just don't see where Bellingham starts.
Yeah.
In that midfield. So I don't think I think it is between us and City. There's rumours about Man United, but Man United are a bit like Liverpool at the moment. They've got some midfielders they don't need and need to ship out before they can get something more in. So I do think Liverpool, I personally think Liverpool do some kind of financial deal that gets a player in from January in, and we get him in next summer. Just to like even if it's like half payment down or something like that. Well, I don't know about you, Kev. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think that the club will move for somebody in January to bring in sort of immediately, and we don't like to sign players in January because it's very difficult to get players out of clubs. You often pay a bit more money to make that the case. So we always try and avoid the January market unless we really have to. But I think they will. And I think they will because come January, I think, and the chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Kate will be able to sign a pre-agreement with other clubs as it will have only 6 months left. So they'll know with relative certainty that he'll be going. So there's a man definitely down. I think it's almost obvious Ox is going to go. So in the heads of the recruitment team and the Liverpool staff, they'll know that there's 2 players gone in the summer. They'll know going into the summer that everybody else will know that as well. So if everybody knows that Liverpool are coming calling for midfielders, the prices go up. So I think it would be wise of Liverpool to perhaps do a deal early if they can in January, just to not only help with that 6 months left of the season, or 5 months, say, the rest of the season, but also so you get to the summer and the other players you're going for in midfield, your negotiations are a bit more like you can make out you don't need them as much, and maybe that might help with the fees and things like that. I think if we look desperate in the summer, we could be getting fleeced by some players. Brighton aren't going to want to let Caicedo go, but if we can rock up saying we want Caicedo, we really like him as a player, we don't need him, so this is our price and this is where we'll stick, as opposed to going, we need midfield. They know we need midfielders and we'll have to pay the fee to get them, kind of conversation. Now, if I explain that right. So I think they will move somebody. I'd like to think they've learned their lesson from the crisis that we had in defence a couple of years back as well. I know that we got Kabak and Davies in, and that was a bit of a shit show, weren't it? I'd like to think now that, look, it is a transfer window. You can sign players. The midfield is an issue. We don't know what the midfield situation will be come January. But I like to think that they'll look back and go, we took a risk in the summer. It didn't pay off because we were off the pace, and the players that we relied on, they've now proved that we can't rely on them. And I like to hope, I like to think that they've learned their lesson on that previous year and gone, we'll do a deal now. And I like signing somebody in January because it kind of gives the squad a bit of a boost for the remainder of the season, especially if we are still in the Champions League and we're in the title race. Somebody coming in at that point can kind of revitalize you. Diaz did it last season for us, didn't he? To an extent. And worst case scenario, that player, if they don't have an impact, well, they've got 6 months playing in the squad, learning the system under their belt. They can go into the following season having played in the team in competitive football and then have a pre-season. So they'll be in good stead for the start of the following season. So the other factor is going to be where we sign these players from as well, because getting a player out of a club that's still in the Champions League or still fighting to avoid relegation or to get in Europe and stuff is going to be very difficult. I think if like Dortmund come out, get knocked out of the Champions League early, and Jude's now just playing Bundesliga football, that might be a bit easier to then price somebody like that. I remember when we was trying to go for Konate, I think that was one of the reasons we couldn't get him was because Leipzig was still in the Champions League. So it was like instantly it was in his contract
as well, I think. I think it was in his contract as well, wasn't it?
So we'll have a drawn up list of players that we want in January. We just have to see where their clubs are at, really, to see how viable it is getting them. But the landscape for Liverpool is going to be very different come January. We all hope it will be. But at the minute, we've started the season poorly. We've had an injury crisis. I think you've said before, come the Brighton game, we're going to have a load of players back. You'd like to think that players coming back will mean we'll have better results, and we work our way up the table in the league. We get through to the knockouts in the Champions League. Come January, I really hope that the club don't just look at the fact that we might have a fully fit squad, say, touch wood, and we still fight in all competitions, and they go, actually, no, everything's fine. Don't worry about it.
That is a worry.
I really hope that regardless of the current situation come January the 1st, whatever competition state Liverpool are in, I really hope that they do invest anyway, because this isn't just to fix a problem now. This is the following season, and the following season we need to sign for. So,
no, I agree. I mean, what you saying about Cater as well? Kate has not signed a new deal by January that he's off, because his agent was just telling him, like, you're free now. You can talk to all foreign clubs.
Yeah.
He can talk to any club in Europe he wants and go for a free and get a big pay rise as well. So obviously free agents get, their wages are usually a bit higher because they're free. So yeah, if he ain't signed a deal by January, Kate would definitely be off. And that's the case, then Liverpool barely use him between now and the end of the season, and we'll be looking for January to get someone in. I think we've been heavily linked with Sangara from PSV for January. I mean, it's going to be interesting. It definitely is. And the World Cup as well. You might get some superstars in the World Cup you've never heard of as well. They come out of nowhere.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Bobby out of contract at the end of the season also. Yeah, I mean, this is true as well. It doesn't look like Bobby's going to re-sign, does it? And Harvey able to step up. I said it a while ago, Carvalho's Bobby's replacement. I said it at the beginning of the season when we bought Carvalho. I see Carvalho as Bobby's replacement.
Yeah.
And I think someone asked a question earlier, which I agreed with. I don't know where Carvalho plays in a 4-3-3, and neither do I. The only place I can see him playing is maybe a false 9 position, number 9 position. That's the only place I can see him possibly playing, like doing a Bobby role in this team. Because if you play 4-3-3, he can't play in the midfield 3. We've seen it already. It didn't work. He's not quick enough to play on the left-hand side. He's not dynamic enough to play on that left-hand side. At the moment, I think all you can get out of Carvalho is an impact player, personally, this season. I think he's just an impact player. He comes on when you're needing goals or freshening legs up, and he doesn't. Like I said, his best performances have all been as an impact player, where Klopp brings him in, doesn't really give him a position to play in, just tells him to get in and around the box, try and do something, either a pass or a shot. And that's where Carvalho's look good for us.
Yeah.
Starting wise, if you play 4, I just don't see where he starts, which is why I always said, was Carvalho a Klopp signing? Because Klopp don't usually play by players that he hasn't got a position for in the team. That's why I always said it. Was Carvalho was he actually a Klopp signing, or was he a Michael Edwards signing? I'm not, because I think he was one of his last signings, wasn't he? So
I think, just to answer that question, Jeremy, I think he was a Klopp signing, but I don't think he's a signing for the system as such. I think Klopp seen an opportunity in Carvalho that he could mold him into a player that could then work in our system, if that makes sense. Because he is very young.
He's very young.
He's extremely talented, and he has time on his side. A false 9 might be the position for Carvalho. It certainly isn't at the minute, because he's not strong enough. He needs to still, build up some muscle and learn the sort of cutenesses, if you like, of being a false 9. When to drop deep, when to buy a foul. You might have to get roughed up a little bit, when to spray it wide and stuff. So he's got to learn that position. At the minute, all his play for Fulham was running off the forward. So he's always running beyond the attack. It's very different playing with the goal behind you. So he would have to learn the position. He'd have to beef up a little bit. But it's an exciting prospect. It's an exciting prospect when you think about him and his qualities. And if he can be made into a false 9, then he could be an excellent player in a few years' time. Definitely. It's like, for me, like I love Carvalho, and I really, really want there to be a position in this team for him because he's so exciting. He is so exciting, and I really hope that he finds a position in this like Liverpool team in the years to come, and that he stays, because I think it'd be really sad to see him go and be successful somewhere that plays maybe a 4-2-3-1 or something, because I think he's going to be a star regardless, wherever he is. So
yeah, you can tell Carvalho's got talent, can't you? He's got ability. But I just, as you said, Klopp's done that with Harvey already. Harvey was a right winger, weren't he? That was his position, and Klopp's made him a central midfielder. So I look at Carvalho. I don't think Carvalho could play central midfield, but I can see he does really well in and around the box, and that's why I'm looking at him thinking Bobby's going by the look of it, because it don't look like there's a new deal happening anytime soon. We're coming very close to January where he can talk to other clubs. I just see Carvalho taking Bobby's spot in this team and being like the third choice number 9. That's.
How do you feel about Bobby going if he's to leave in the summer?
I think it's probably the right time. It's probably the right time. Like I love Bobby Firmino. I think we all do as Liverpool fans, but he can have 2 or 3 great games like he has done this season so far, and then he can have 2. He's not really on this sort of games. But I look at Bobby and think he's third choice number 9 at the moment, ain't he? And Jota might be number 1 at the moment. I think Jota is number 1 choice, and then Darwin Núñez is number 2 at the moment, and then Bobby. And I think with Darwin Núñez I think Darwin Núñez will be number 1 Liverpool choice eventually. I think Klopp's just giving him time. I know I would be moaning about it as well that he's not played 90-minute match yet. He's not played enough games and things like. You can tell when he plays, he ain't sure about where his role in the team is. You can tell he's not used to players around him or anything like that. When Jota started against Ajax, we looked tremendous.
Yeah.
Jota knows the team. He knows the position. He knows what he's asked for him, and he knows what to do in that position. He knows what Diaz is going to do. He knows what Mo's going to do. If he sees Trent's got the ball in a deep position on the right-hand side, he knows what Trent's going to do with the ball so he can make a run. He knows what Thiago can feed the ball into his feet and he can turn on the half, things like that. Darwin don't know any of that at the moment. So I think he's just getting used to everything. I've said it for a while now. You put De Bruyne in Liverpool's team, De Bruyne doesn't have the goals he's got for Man City already because he isn't getting fed. You got to feed these players. You look at De Bruyne. De Bruyne don't actually do much in a City team no more. He literally waits to get the ball and then he just feeds. He just feeds. He just feeds Kevin De Bruyne and he scores. It's a beautiful way they got it there at City. Where Liverpool at the moment, De Bruyne, Haaland would struggle because he's got Harvey Elliott and Fabinho and whoever's playing the other midfield position because of injuries. They're not going to be able to find the ball for him to make them runs and he'll get goals, but not the goals he's getting for City so far. So that's why I'm not hard on Darwin Núñez. The man's not. The times I've seen the passes that he actually wants, he gets, he looks devastating. When he gets the passes he doesn't want, he looks a bit awkward. And he's that kind of player. He doesn't want to do build-up play. The only build-up play he wants to do is maybe take it down the chest, give it, and then go. That's his limit. He just wants to put a ball in the back of the net.
The funny thing is, like, Haaland for Man City, if you watch the Man City games, the guy's never involved. Like, the game happens around him, and he just waits for them chances, usually in the box. I know he scored at the weekend outside the box, but usually in the 6-yard box to just tuck them away and get the goals. Núñez hasn't quite done that when he's played. He's actually tried to get involved in the play. I don't think he's as confident in himself as perhaps a Haaland is to just say, nah, I'm a forward. This is what I want. I just want to get on the end of crosses. I just want to run in behind, and that's all I'm going to do. He actually wants to get a feel for the ball. He's drifting out to the left and not really doing much out there, to be honest. Kind of picks up the ball and runs into people or runs out of play or what have you. He comes deep and his touch is a little bit iffy. So I don't blame him for it, but he does need to improve his touch. I will say that much, because there's sometimes the ball's fed into him, or even just a simple pass when he's got the ball, and it's a bit like, this isn't great. This is kind of basics. We need you to be doing well, because the goals aren't coming for him, not because of him, because of how poor the team's been. So I would just like him to do the opportunities he does get, i.e. when he gets the ball, just make sure you make the pass. Make sure you get the ball under control. Buy a foul. The goals then will come. Just concentrate on doing what you can do, because he's not really getting a lot of opportunities when he's played, to be fair to him. And when he has, I mean, I know he put one wide against Ajax, but it was a little bit behind him and stuff, so you can forgive him a bit for it. But I'm agreeing with you. Jota is hands down number one Liverpool forward at the moment. He seems to, I mean, if you're just going off the Ajax games, he seems to have learned the system, and that's something you can't have always said for Jota. Always been a brilliant goal scorer for us, but there has been games we can't deny where he's played, and it's just like we're expecting Bobby levels of link up, and you've just not got it. Like,
he's
I suppose, yeah. But the thing with Jota is he's always scored goals. That's the thing. Even when he was coming off the bench initially, he was chipping in with goals, and important goals as well. You know, he was coming off the bench and getting winners. So the start to his career, Liverpool career, was great because everyone instantly loved him. We could accept his kind of flaws in his link-up play and his passing and stuff, because he was doing the main thing, which is putting the ball in the back of the net. He seems to have now, if you just go off the Ajax game, like I said, to have learned that where to be, where to receive the ball, what you do when you receive it, and he's become a bit more of an all-rounded number 9. So Nunes just needs to go through the same process, I think.
Oh yeah, totally. I totally agree. I mean, Jota is definitely that number one, and he's learned his craft at Liverpool while he's been here, and he knows that number 9 position, knows the players around him. Against Ajax as well, I noticed that, you know, Salah was far closer to Jota than if Darwin's playing, and that's where you want Salah. That's where you want. I mean, he scored from it. You know, he scored from it because he was in play. You know, he was in touch, and he was inside the 18-yard box, where Salah's been so wide he can't get into them areas, and he scored because maybe Klopp's got rid of that. You know, the tactic weren't working with him so wide, Diaz so wide. You know, it weren't working. Let's just go back to what we know. We need a win. Let's get Jota in the number 9 position. Get them a bit more inverted, a bit more closer, get Salah a bit more involved. And, you know, we saw what happened. Personally, I thought the Ajax game, I thought we played really well. I think we dominated the whole match. And
I agree.
It should have been 3 or 4-1 as well when you look back at the chances as well. I know Ajax had that obviously a good chance when they headed it past the post, but apart from that and their goal, that's all they had in 90 minutes. And, you know, Ajax are a decent side in Europe, so they go have good moments in matches, but we pretty much dominated a team that everyone said we should be worried about because they didn't concede all season, and they're scoring goals for fun as well. So
it's funny though. Like we won that Ajax game obviously for a last minute winner, Matip scoring. People would look at a 2-1 scoreline and go, "Oh yeah, you just scrape by. It's not an amazing. It's a win, yeah. It's not an amazing result." Do you think as Liverpool fans, we're kind of is our expectations a little bit too high when it comes to just results? You know, we obviously need to see performance, but like as long as Liverpool winning, surely that's good enough, right? Because I must admit, I feel guilty to it a little bit as well. When we win games by a goal, I'm a bit like, oh, that's not really good enough. I need clean sheets. I need 2-3-0 kind of thing. But in truth, nobody's getting that at the minute. No. You know, Man City is scoring, conceding goals and stuff at the minute. So, the main thing is Liverpool win games. That's what we need to get back to doing. And it might be that we don't have many clean sheets. It might be that we just win 1-0 or whatever. That'll be good enough, you know. Because you always hear it, you know, like when Klopp's interviewed after a win, and he's always a bit like, you do know this is a good team, right, that we've just faced. He's always bigging up the opposition. And I think as fans have a slight over expectation at times. You know, when we play, like we'll play Brighton, so we'll do a preview for that game in a couple of weeks' time, and we'll be rolling around going 2-3-0ers. But Klopp will be looking at it going, I just need to win this game. Just the 1-0 would do. You know, he's not looking at 4, 5-0ers.
When we won the title, I think we won a lot of games 2-1, didn't we?
I think we won 13 games by a goal.
Yeah, it's just yeah. But you win the game. But if you look at all them games, though, we dominated most of the games. Like it's not like you can win games 2-1 and be completely dominant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can win a game 9-0 like we did against Bournemouth. But for me, the performance and result against Ajax at 2-1 was better. That makes sense. But everyone, you're 9-0 against Bournemouth. What are you on about? It's an anomaly, ain't it? But when you look at the Ajax result and the way we controlled the game against a proper good team in Europe, it's for me that's a better result. Yeah. Jamrock with a super chat says Enzo Fernandez should be the Thiago successor. Is this the Brazilian kid that everyone keeps talking about at the moment? That he keeps having interviews with ESPN saying he wants to play for Liverpool.
No, that's not him. That's who's that kid? This Enzo Fernandez is an Argentinian kid. I think he plays for.
Is he the one? Ain't he just signed a new? I swear I heard he just signed a new deal.
He played in Argentina. I think he played for River Plate, and then he went. I could be wrong on this, but I think he's at Benfica now. Benfica. I think he joined in the summer. I don't know much about him, but
I don't know much about him either. Masood, yeah, I mean you're right there, my friend, with your comment. You are right. I just don't know where Carvalho plays, my man. That's all I'm saying. 9 maybe, but as you say, he ain't going to get many games to be a super sub. So, yeah, maybe. Like I think Jamrock said it earlier as well. He played in the attacking 8 position for Portugal's under 21s, didn't he? So maybe that is a position he can play. But to play him there, you got to play him with Fabinho and Thiago at the same time for it to work. You know, if you play him with Kate, with like we did the other day, him, Harvey, and Fabinho was too forward thinking, not defensively strong enough. So, yeah, maybe you can. Maybe you can play Carvalho in that attacking 8 and let Thiago and Fabinho sit defensively, dominate the game from there, and let Carvalho do what he wants. That could be a position for him. But it's all what Klopp sees him as, though, ain't it? That's it. At the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's all what Klopp sees him as. Big up, Richard. How you doing, my friend? Hi, Liverpool fans. How are you, everyone? Well, we need midfielders like Enzo Fernandez, Nico Barella, Jude Bellingham, Yuri Tillemans, James Ward-Prowse, and Ruben Neves. Many thanks. Big up, Richard. I think it's your first time in there. Big up to yourself, my man. James Ward-Prowse I've always been in favour of, and everyone. I just think the way we play, he would suit. He would be able to walk straight into our midfield 3, in my opinion, and just start and just play. I just think he keeps hold of the ball. He's got good passing retention. He's a very good passer of the ball. I keep saying with Ward-Prowse, you don't see how good he actually is because at Southampton, all the players are behind him and not in front of him.
Yeah,
so he can't show his range off. A bit like Jota when he was at Wolves. Jota looked good at Wolves, but Jota weren't always starting at Wolves. And everyone was like, well, Jota, he's a decent player, Portuguese international, but I'm not quite sure. And then you see him in an attacking team and you get the best out of him, don't you? And I look at Ward-Prowse and think, I think he's a decent player. He's not quality or anything like that, but for what Klopp wants in our midfield, he wants people that can defend well, got good pass retention, can keep the ball, good under pressure. Ward-Prowse is that sort of player, but
I'm surprised.
I'm
surprised he's not gone. I think he's come through the Southampton academy, but that's never stopped.
Boy, ain't he?
That's never stopped him from leaving before. Southampton have produced really good players over the years, but and he's English as well. He's English, so he adds to the homegrown quota, if you like. For us, he'd be like a pretty natural successor to your Milner and then your Henderson, wouldn't he? So. He won't be your star signing, or you'd like him not to be, but he could be a good. I don't want to call him a utility player because I think that'd do him a bit of a disservice. But that kind of ilk, he's pretty reliable. You could move him across the midfield if you needed to. You'd probably even get away with playing him right back on the odd game if you had to, kind of thing.
Yeah,
And his set pieces are freaking unreal.
I think he's a decent player. He needs to be at a bigger team for me. There is some rumours that Liverpool are looking at Luis Suarez, by the way.
Yeah, he's out of contract. I think their league finishes next month, doesn't it?
Yeah,
so he'll be a free agent.
Yeah, apparently there's a lot of rumours that Liverpool were looking at Luis Suarez to help him come in and nurture Darwin Núñez. Apparently,
Jesus Christ.
That's the rumour. But
can you imagine Darwin Núñez you'd have?
Darwin Núñez is wound up already. I don't know if Suarez is going to help him much, but I think it's just like maybe nurture his talent or something like that. Bring him in, play the odd game. I mean, imagine Luis Suarez.
From a football purely on the training ground, learning movements, position of play, technique, and stuff. Yeah, I mean, let's face it, Suarez is one of the best forwards that's ever lived. So yeah. As far as signing him and having him around the squad again, yeah. I mean, I say that. I think he's over all his antics now, isn't he? I think I like to think he's a change.
I honestly think Suarez. I know. What is he? 34. I don't know what. I think he'd still get goals.
He'd still score.
I think he'd still score. You get him in the right place. I think Suarez has never relied on pace. He's never really been pacey. So he was quick enough. He's a bit like Harry Kane. Harry Kane's quick to a level, but he's not pacey, is he? He can get away from a player, but he's not like pacey. So he's never relied on that. And that's how Suarez is. So that wouldn't be a problem. But, bringing Suarez off the bench for like 20 minutes to go in a game when you need a goal. I mean, could be worse free transfers out there,
Be interesting to see where he goes, though. I wonder if
it would be, because he's still Lewis. For me, he's the best goal scorer. For me, he's the best number 9 of our generation. In my opinion, I think he's been up there with Ronaldo and Messi for the last 10 years, in my opinion. But no one ever speaks about it. Just go and look at his assists and goals. It's mad.
Yeah,
he's tremendous.
All the time on Twitter and stuff, they just throw up these stats going back to like his assists, or like I think I seen one the other day where it was like his first 16 games in the 13-14 season. He had like 22 goals or something. It's just absolutely mad, He
outscored Messi and Ronaldo in Spain for 2 seasons. I mean, he's a tremendous footballer. Mark says Núñez. Oh no, nowhere near. I mean, Haaland's an android. I don't think he's human. I think he was born in a lab. There's something not quite right about it. By the way, I will say one thing though. Haaland's goal that he got credited with that sort of like karate kick goal.
Yeah.
Right. I can guarantee you right now, if Liverpool striker did that, it would be chalked off for a high foot. I'm telling you right now, because I watched that goal go in. I went, is that not going to be chalked off? His feet are proper high there.
Yeah,
his feet are proper high there, and they're all about high feet. They're all about high feet in the box all the time. I've seen bicycle kicks get chalked off because of the high foot, because it was near someone's head.
Yeah,
I was shocked that it never got chalked off, and no one's actually ever spoke about it. No one ever since that goal.
I don't think there was a player close enough.
But I guarantee you right now, if that was a Liverpool player, it would have been chalked off for a high boot. We all know it. If that was Darwin Núñez with that high boot, like. Because let's face it, he kicked it as high as he is, and he's 6'4".
Yeah.
So if Darwin Núñez did that, I guarantee you it would have been chalked off for a high boot.
What was the player he bloody kicked in the neck the other week? I think it was the Palace game, wasn't it? But I said after that game, because we were angry that he didn't get a red, I said he will kick someone in the head again this season. It's guaranteed. This guy, right? Always, whether it's controlling a ball or trying to score a goal. He does use his head, but if he can throw up that foot, 6 foot in the air, he will do. He's going to hurt someone at some point.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's just a unit, ain't he? He's just massive.
Yeah, and I must admit, I only watch Man City games, or I have done, because obviously they're our rivals for the title, and usually they score and I switch it off because I'm bored. I'm finding myself tuning into the Man City games now just to see Haaland.
It's ridiculous.
That's probably a bad thing to say as a Liverpool fan, but I am a bit not mesmerized, but I'm a bit like I can't quite believe that
you can't work him out because
scoring.
Some games he's not involved in anything of a match, and then he got a hat trick. Where did that Because if you're watching him on the eye and you know nothing about Haaland, you know nothing about football, you're right. That Man City striker is the best in the world. There's no one who can touch him. And you're watching it for 60 minutes. You're like, he's done nothing. What are you on about? And then all of a sudden, in 5 minutes, he got an hat trick, and you're like, oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
that ain't natural, is it?
Yeah.
And
but he's like that though. Once he gets one, I can't throw a stat at this, but he can go a long period in a game without scoring, and then when he scores one, he's very likely to get others. He seems to score a lot of his goals in like patches in the game. But I watched the Wolves game, and when he picked up the ball and ran across the box, I kind of thought, oh wait, what's he gonna do it? And I was waiting for him to cut back on his left and shoot. And when he hit it with his right, and it went in, I was a bit like, oh, could have a problem with this guy now, because all his goals are coming in the 6-yard box, and now he's just scored from outside the box. Yeah, he's a problem. He's a problem.
He's definitely a beast. There's no doubt about it. I watch non-Liverpool games for entertainment. Our football is quite boring. You know what? I actually fall asleep watching Man City.
Well, you easily can. Yeah,
I find Man City quite boring sometimes. Yeah. Like when they're passing about. When you look at Man City's passing stats, they always go, right, Cancelo's had 177 passes this match. And you go back and watch it, and he's passed to like De Bruyne when they're 5 yards away 20 times. And it's like, oh, Jesus Christ. And it's like, just move it a bit. I do think when Liverpool are at their fluent best, I think Liverpool are the most entertaining. I think when we're at our fluent best, like proper fluent best, I think we are the most entertaining team to watch. Yeah. Another dead team to watch at the moment is Spurs, but it's just getting results.
Yeah.
I mean, Spurs played defensively in their last game, right, against Leicester, who are a completely dead side at the moment, as we watched when we were doing a video. And they win 6-2. And it's just like, I don't get it. So many teams, for me, are playing really dead football, but winning games. The team probably playing the best football in the Premier League this season are Arsenal.
I think it is. I think it unquestionably is. But the funny thing is, Arsenal play Spurs next, don't they? And if Spurs win, they go above them. So it's all a bit mad, because Arsenal, I think, have been the best team in the league this season. Yeah, not just because they're top, but because of the football they've played.
Yeah, they've played rugby football. I mean, what they did to Brentford, that's not underestimating this. They ripped Brentford apart. Properly ripped them apart. And they're playing entertaining football right now, and Arsenal they're in a good place right now, and doing some good stuff.
Right now, though. Right now.
Yeah, right now. I always think with Arsenal, I do think when I watch Arsenal, I do think they got a flat track bully thing about them. I think they're flat track bullies. I think when they come against big teams, the only big team they played this season, I think, is Man United, don't it?
Yeah,
and they lost, and it was, when they lost, they were very naive in that game. And when I look at Arsenal, they got 9 this October's, Gabby. Matt, I've said it. Whatever come after October, I think that's when we all see where everyone lays, because this month of October is mad. 9 games in 30 days, whatever it is just nuts.
Yeah,
and and there's not easy games either. Everyone plays each other. All the top 6 are playing each other, and there's mixtures of games. I think there's 3 games in like 8 days. One of the week. It's just ridiculous. So let's see how it all lays at the end of October. And we've got Arsenal obviously in a few weeks, and we all know Jot's fit now, so he loves Arsenal. So.
Yeah, exactly. We can do our usual. I'm touching all bits of wood here. We can do our usual win against Arsenal and just reset them and put them back in fighting for 4th place. That's usually what happens, isn't it?
They're doing well. They're doing well.
Yeah.
Right, before we finish here, guys, I just want to show you. I've got 3 teams I've picked here. I haven't picked the 3rd team, so I'm just going to pick this 3rd team, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you guys, and you guys are going to say which team you think is best going forward for the rest of the season. All right, let me just. There's some players in each team that you'll see because, like to Trent, let's face it, Trent and Virgil are never being dropped, no matter what people, want and ask for. It's never go over. Well, there's one team that he's dropped in. I've dropped him for, but yeah, you let me know what you think, guys. So let's go with Team A first. So this is Team A. Let me share it on the screen. Make sure I get the right one. Is that the right one? Probably not. Yeah, Team A. There's Team A. So that's Team A there, guys. So Alisson in goal, Trent, Canate, Van Dijk and Robbo, Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago, Diaz, Jota and Mo Salah. That is Team A.
Is this for in general, or is this for
in general? Go. I bet like who we would go with. Everyone fit and available. Who would we go with as our strongest team? So that's Team A. So obviously Alisson's in goal in every single one of them. So you ain't got to worry about that. I put Trent and right back in all the teams as well because at the end of the day, Trent ain't getting dropped, so it don't really matter. I've gone Canate and Van Dijk because I think I love Matip. Matip's looked amazing since he's come back, but I think Klopp wants to get Canate and Van Dijk together soon. Mm-hmm. I just got this feeling he wants to play. He wants to play that formation. Cop end, why 4-3-3 again, bro? I'm going 4-3-3 because I'm going with what Klopp's do. This is not my. This is like I'm going what Klopp might do with his team and his tactics and how he might be going forward. Robbo at left back, and then the midfield three of Hendo, Fabinho, and Thiago, which I think's defensively works as our best midfield three. Then I've gone with Jota as our number one striker, and Salah and Diaz. So that's A. All right, let's see if I can get. Right, let's drop that. That's A. Oh, now I need to make sure I get the right team, not A again. This should be B. Oh, this is C. No. So that's Team C. I've gone the wrong way round.
That's A. That's A. You've just kicked Ali out.
Yeah, Ali's he just. I can't bother putting him in. He's going to play. So this is Team C. Actually, this is Team C. This is the. So Matip and Canate as the centre back options. Then Robbo and Trent, and then Elliot, Fabinho and Thiago, Diaz, Bobby and Salah. That's Team C. That's the weird one, I will admit. And then Team B, who I think might be the one he wanted to play. Is that it? Have I got it there? Yeah, there you go. Team B. And that's Team B. So Trent, Matip, Van Dijk, Tsimikas, Keita, Fabinho, Thiago, Salah, Darwin Núñez, Luis Diaz. So they're your teams, guys. Let me know in the chat what you think, A, B, or C. What one do you reckon, Kev?
I think I'll go A out of the three. I think I would. As much as I would love to see Núñez, I think Jota at this moment in time is just a better forward overall, and probably will be for the remainder of the season. Simi and Robbo is a funny one because I'd have both equally fit, both in form. I'd take Robbo, but not at the minute over Tsimikas. And you've put Keita in there, so I can't pick that team. No.
A lot of people want him in, though. A lot of people want him in.
Yeah, it's valid. It's valid. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that there's a bit of a U-turn and he gets fit and he plays, but the chances are quite slim.
Yeah, I mean, so Copend has gone. I'll go for A, but with Núñez and Matip now.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, these are all the options available. I mean, we have this is when everyone's fit. Who I think Klopp will play. I think there's going to be a time when everyone's fit. I think Klopp's going to settle with an 11 that he's going to mostly play. and not rotate too much.
Yeah.
And I know that annoys people because Klopp doesn't really, he's not massive on rotation. So I think once everyone's fit and back, I think Klopp will get to 11 that he's happy with and that he trusts. And I think you'll see the majority of that 11 play every week. There might be the odd tweak, like maybe a left back out, like Robbo and Tsimikas might change a bit, or, you know, Hendo and Kate or Elliott might change a bit on the right side of midfield. But I think that'd be it. I think it'd be mostly a solid 11.
I think once Konate's back, I think Klopp might look to do what I think he did for the most part last season, is have Matip in the Premier League squad and have Konate in the Champions League squad. I think he might revert back to that because it's a good way of rotating both players. Give them both minutes and to keep them both fresh. But that the hardest one to pick. It's not particularly hard to pick Jota over Núñez at the minute for me.
No.
It's not too difficult to pick Henderson over Keita, depending on the game, him or Elliott. Simi and Robbo, I'd go Robbo, but I'm happy if Simi plays. I think a tough decision if prior to match day is between Konate and Matip, because Matip's, we've said before, unbelievable at reading the game, and he's a brilliant partner to Virgil, and to be honest, outperformed him on large parts of last season as well, I would even say. But Konate is just an absolute animal. And he is the future for Liverpool's defense. So, you can't keep holding him back. You've got to let him go. But depends how long he gets it takes to get him back match fit,
Yeah, that's the thing.
They could be really cautious with him. I know he is technically back for Brighton, but they might be really, really cautious with him because
they might just use him against Rangers. As you say, it might be that he's a champion. I mean, he played the Champions League final, and he was excellent.
I think he was the best. I think he was our best player in the Champions League final.
Yeah, he was.
He was outstanding in that final.
So maybe it is that way. Maybe Matip will be the Premier League centre back with Virgil. Konate the Champions League centre back with Virgil, but then Konate plays the odd game in the Premier League as well. Just keep him going. Yeah. Maybe like that, because eventually, Matip's going to come out of the team. Konate's he's young. He's going to take over eventually. So, but Konate can play. You can play Matip and Konate together as well, and maybe give Virgil a rest here and there as well. So, yeah, having Konate back is massive. But it's mad. I said it a while ago. I said it in the Napoli game. I said it when I watched that Napoli defeat, and with Hendo in no midfield. I said it. Once he's fit, he's coming straight. I think he's coming straight back in. I think, as I said, I love Harvey Elliott. He's been probably arguably our best midfielder since the beginning of the season, but him and Trent are too immature defensively to play together.
Yeah.
They don't. Trent's got this new thing now where he gets forward and plays central midfield, and then Harvey still wants to go forward as well, so he overlaps Salah and goes wide. So then you've got a massive gap where Hendo, because Hendo hasn't got the legs to do that now, Hendo will sit more defensively. So if Trent wants to go through the middle and go into a midfield, where I don't mind, I don't actually mind Trent doing that because he's got great ability with it. I think that's what Klopp's told him to do. Everyone's going mad on Trent in this new position. I think this is a Klopp plan. I think Klopp doesn't want them to play in midfield. I mean, Klopp said it in a press conference, didn't he? Why he said in his opinion, why would you play the best right back in the world in midfield? But I think Klopp wants him in midfield, but starting from right back.
Yeah.
So
which is a done thing, Pep
does it because he's ability on the ball. He's a good passer of the ball, and if you have that with Thiago in your midfield, you've got a bit more creativity. But the problem is Harvey's too immature as well to do the defensive work because it's just not in his game. Where Hendo will just go, I ain't got the legs to do that. I will sit. Yeah. I'll sit here and be an auxiliary right back while Trent comes into midfield. And I think that gives us better balance because the balance is just off, ain't it? The balance is just off.
It's going to be, though, because usually your most creative player is your attacking midfielder or a winger. usually. And when you have an attacking midfielder, you compensate by having defensive midfielders around them or workhorses around them. If you have if you have a creative winger, you compensate by having a traditional right back that might get a bit forward and overlap, but is usually more defensive. And then again, you have midfielders that work hard as well. Our creative player is Trent at right back. So it's a little bit naive for me to be then playing both Elliott and Salah that don't want to defend, because suddenly then you've got a whole right-sided right half of your team that don't have players that are naturally going to defend in moments where they should, or track back in moments where they should. They'll do it on occasions, but it's not instinctual. And that's the thing, when a ball is we're in attack and the ball's turned over in midfield and the opposition's then running at our defense. You can as a forward or a winger or whatever, look at the player and go, I should run back and help here. But you'll do it on occasion. Let's say be kind to people like Salah and say they do it half the time, but it's not instinct. It's not instinct to run back. It might be in a big game because you'd panic, but league games and stuff. That's where defensive midfielders and stuff come in, because their first thought is always to stop the play, break it up. And down that right hand side, if you play Trent, Elliott, and Salah, none of them have got it. So I think it's just a little bit naive to be playing Trent, giving him that license or instruction to go where he wants and does what he wants, and not cater for it. And for me, playing Elliott on the right hand side isn't catering for it. It isn't. Yeah, playing Henderson is. He's just not done it. He's just not done it particularly well.
No.
It's a tough one.
The rest might have done Hendo good, though. The rest might have done Hendo good. This break he's had with the injury, now with the international break and all that. So I think he's fit for the Brighton game, ain't he? So
I think Klopp's just looking at it and going, when I've got Thiago back, transforms this team. We're suddenly controlling games. We're attacking with serious threat. We're doing less defensively. The press is right. We've spoke before about Thiago's ball recoveries. He's a brilliant defender in midfield as well. He can do everything, and he makes people around him better. Makes Fabinho better. So I think Klopp's just looking at it going, once I've got Thiago back and I've got Fabinho back and I've got everybody playing better than they are, it's worth having Trent in. It's worth taking that risk with him because he is so brilliantly creative. When things go bad, and as it has done for this season, that risk costs you ultimately. You need for Trent to be allowed this license to go and do what he wants. He needs everybody else playing well. Sorry, shall I say?
Yeah.
Can't afford for the team to be faltering. Can't afford for the press not be right. Can't afford for the work rate to not be there, because suddenly that is just a gaping hole. Everyone needs to buy in. Everyone needs to work hard. Press, win the ball back, get the high line up the pitch, play the offside trap right, and then you can take the risk with Trent doing what he wants. So I think he sticks with it. I don't think he changes it, to be honest.
Jamie, are you what? What's that say? What's that say? Can you read it, Kev? Jamie,
I can only think he's saying, Jamie, are you pissed? Because you had your head down.
Oh, I had my head down. Sorry. Yeah, no, my wife just texted me. Sorry, guys. I have to look at it when the wife texts in case there's anything about Penny. That's all. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. No, I'm good. No, you're correct in everything you're saying there. It's just, Jamie, are you pissed? Yeah, I hate having no football.
Yeah,
I hate having no football. It annoys me.
It's the best break. I hate international duty. I hate not seeing Liverpool play, but I must admit it's the best. It's the best break we've had for a while, because you like to think Liverpool are going to benefit from it.
I think it's a break Liverpool needed. I was going to come to this as well. Now, Liverpool are not usually good when we have long-term breaks, but because there's international duty as well, Klopp won't be training a lot of the players into the ground. Like, I love Klopp, but sometimes the double training sessions aren't needed. And I think they have heavy legs going into games and can't do what they need to do. But then I think Klopp will say, yeah, that might be the problem, but for the rest of the season, it actually does us good. So it might be like it's a balancing act on that sort of thing. But because he's national duty, he won't go be training a lot. So he'll only have the players back, like a full team back for a couple of days, a little bit of a training session, and then into a game. I actually think for the first time, this little break's done us good.
Yeah.
I think it's done us good because I think we got that Ajax result. The players were happy about it. Got the Champions League, winning the Champions League against a good team, put in a good performance. And I think they'd like, right, we can have a little break now, get all the players back, have a majority of our squad back by the time we come. I think the only two who are going to be missing is Ox and Naby. I think Klopp said they're the only two who are going to be missing by the time Brighton comes. And then they're due back sometime in October. So, exciting times, I think. And
if not physically, definitely mentally. Because Klopp can say to these lads, he can say, look, you've been terrible this season. No bones about it. You've been terrible, right? Whether it's because you've not been fit or you've just not played well. Either way, as a squad, you've been poor. But we're at this point in time now. You go away on international duty. You got a bit of a break. A lot of players haven't gone away. And he can say to them, for as bad as you've been, you are still in the Champions League and still qualify out the group. And you're still in this league and can still win this league because you still got to play the teams that are above you. So you can still be successful this year, and that should be enough for these players to go, we've been bad. Players are back fit now. They should be really motivated now. They should be up for it. I know we're 9 points off top of the league, but win our game in hand with 6 points off. And like I say, still got to play Man City twice, still got to play Arsenal twice, Spurs twice, all these teams that are above us. So if Liverpool are at their very best, right, fully motivated, playing the way they should, and they get results against these teams. I know it's easier said than done, but the opportunity is still there. Do you know? It's not gone. Yeah. We're not in March and we're running out of games and we don't play Man City and we need other teams to take points. That's not the situation. The situation is we've got a large portion of this league still to go, and we can still take points off the boys that we need to. So
I arguably think we'd be better with I think we'd be better with the busy schedule. Liverpool always have been. I think we're one of the only clubs that are. I know, obviously, Jurgen will come out and say he hates it. He hates the fixture congestion. It's not good. But even I think he admitted, was it last year, that for some reason he said his team is just better when it's like this. Yeah. They just go game to game to game. There's less training. They just go. I think we'll be all right through October. I actually think, I know we had the Napoli game. We were terrible. But for me, that was the worst performance in the Jurgen Klopp era against Napoli in the Champions League. I don't think there was a more embarrassing, poor performance than there was against Napoli in the Jurgen Klopp era, especially with the team we have now.
I think we've had bad halves.
Yeah, but that was a whole 90, wasn't it? I mean, that could have been 8-1, let's face it. We wouldn't have been sitting here saying we shouldn't have lost 8-1. It could have easily been that. It was a terrible performance. We put it behind us. The thing that annoyed me against that Napoli game, as soon as we scored, Napoli got a bit scared. And that just irritated me. It's like, so I don't think that'll happen again. I actually think we'll be better against the bigger teams.
Yeah,
in the Premier League. I think when we play the likes of Arsenal and City back to back, I don't think it'll be. It looks scary on paper because of the form, especially Arsenal we're in now. I know we're away at the Emirates. We get a win there. I take a win at Arsenal and a point at home against Man City. 4 points out of the 6 in them two fixtures. Take that all day long.
I don't know if you know off the top of your head, James, but is the Man City game at home?
Yeah, Man City game's at home. The Arsenal one's away, I believe. Let me just get it up.
I think you've got to win both of them, because at the start of the season, I thought that for Liverpool to win the league, they'd have to beat Man City at home.
Yeah,
and we've only been poor this season, so I can't then change that. I think they've got to take 6 points to win the league. That is.
First October, home to Brighton. Then we're at home to Rangers on Tuesday, the 4th, in the Champions League. Then on the Super Sunday game is away to Arsenal. Then we're away to Rangers the following a few days later. And then the Super Sunday game, we're at home to City. And then we're at home to West Ham the following Wednesday.
Yeah, and no doubt they've got their act together by then as well.
Home to West Ham, away to Nottingham Forest, home to Leeds, and then away to Spurs, home to Derby in the Cup, and then home to Southampton. So we have got, as soon as the City Arsenal game, we have got some games we should win. We should beat West Ham at home. We should beat Forest away. We should beat Leeds at home. Yeah. Tottenham away would be difficult. Then we've got Derby in the Cup at home, Southampton at home, Villa away, Boxing Day. That's the game after the World Cup. Should win that. Leicester at home on New Year's Eve. New Year's Day, the 2nd of January, we've got Brentford away. Brighton on the 14th of Jan. And then the postponed. Then we got Chelsea and Wolves back to back and ever. Our fixtures are quite decent. The month of October it's not too bad. Obviously, Brighton's the first one. Arsenal and City.
Different Brighton now as well, I think.
Yeah, Arsenal and City back to backs obviously our hardest games. But then West Ham, Forest, Leeds are the rest of the games in the Premier League in October. We should be winning them games. We should be winning against Forest, West Ham, and Leeds, especially two of them are at home.
Yeah,
and we should be beating Brighton at home.
Brighton, now they've lost Potter, might be a bit of a different outfit. Arsenal, if they lose to Spurs, won't be top. They'd have lost against two so-called Big Six rivals. They will go into the game against Liverpool with a little bit more doubt than if they beat Spurs. They might be bouncing still, can go either way. Man City's Man City. Doesn't matter what form you're in, doesn't matter what form they're in. The game will be the game. Like, both teams will be up for it. There'll be goals. One team will dominate for spells. The other team will dominate for spells. One team might even dominate a half, and then the other team dominates the half. It's just usually the way it goes. The result goes whichever way it does. You can't call it. I know we're at home, but you can't call results against Man City because they're just both so capable of beating each other. Or even a draw out, goal. There'll be goals. I think that's the only thing you can really guarantee. Yeah. But I think come the end of October, you kind of know where your season's going, don't you? You know, if you're still in the Champions League, Liverpool in knockout rounds, the Anfield under the lights, you're confident again. If you've got good results and you're still in with the chance of the league, you've come through a tough month, and you probably. If you've got good results against Arsenal and Man City, you could be bouncing. You could be flying. Rivals could be fearing Liverpool come the end of October if we get the right results.
Totally.
Which they're not at the minute, let's face it.
No, I agree. I'm looking forward to it. And on that note, guys, hope you all enjoyed that show today. Little show. I'll have some more stuff coming up this week, obviously. Obviously, content will be a bit more scarce considering we got no football on at the moment. It's an international break. I'm not doing anything international football wise. It bores the teeth off me. When there's nothing at stake at international football, is there anything worse? I can't. A Nations League and all that. I'm not having it. Can't do it. World Cup's different. Obviously, World Cup would be great. I'll be doing the World Cup every day, but no, this international break's a nuisance. So I'll be doing shows in the week, guys. The After Dark podcast will still be on Sunday. Don't worry about that, guys. I just letting everyone say After Dark. After Dark will be on Sundays. Don't worry about that, guys. And we'll try and get some other football-related shows out this week, guys. So just make sure you hit the notification bell when you subscribe, and hopefully you get motivated. That ain't even worse.
Get motivated, guys.
Just do general chats, Jay. Maybe. I'll think of saying, don't worry, there'll be shows this week. Just make sure your notifications are on, guys, and then you'll see when I go live. But big up to everyone. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate the love, guys. Yeah, I don't know what's happening to Pat-Man. He's gone missing all of a sudden.
Pat-Man has gone missing. We got Savage back, and Pat-Man's gone missing.
Very strange. But big up, guys. I'll see you all in the week. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you later on. Bye-bye.
Cheers.